I'm calling this special council meeting of May the 1st, 2017 to order. And with only one item on the agenda, I'm going to ask all members of council if there are any declarations of interest. If there are not any, Mr. Farmer, we can proceed.
Thank you, Your Worship. The first item on the agenda under presentations is a presentation from Lucas Cleveland and Montana Desjardins, the Market and S'more, presentation of request for proposal for the Victoria Beach Canteen operations.
Okay. Welcome, Montana and Lucas.
Hello, everyone. So, do I start? And put it up, because it's recorded. Yeah. I really want to scat. Scuba-doo-ba-doo-doo-doo-doo. You miss me, Teresa? Okay. I have my interpretive dance, too, so don't worry. So, I'm just going to get right into it, because this is a special agenda or council meeting I just found out, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. So hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, or we're really joining you guys. As many of you know, Lucas and I moved here from Alberta because we fell in love with Cobourg last year, and our intention was to open up a fresh market downtown. And with any huge dream comes a lot of challenges, and ours specifically is finding reasonable rent, which is fine for now. So when a community member told us the canteen would be up for bid this year, Lucas and I started dreaming up of a waterfront food experience that could potentially be something that the town is proud of, change the current perception of the canteen, and set a new standard for food operators and customer service along the waterfront. So we decided to put the bid in to the town, and we are humbly presenting in front of you today. With our varied professional background experience, we set to work researching the current issues with the canteen. This was done through speaking with locals casually that we know of, and looking up every review we could find on the internet. And we broke the issues that we found throughout the reviews for the canteen, thank you so much, down into 3 categories. And then those categories had subcategories. But the 3 main ones were wait time and lineups, food and menu choices, and customer service. So the proposal and the bid that we put forward focuses on finding solutions to the existing challenges, staying integral to our values as a business, which is health, community, and sustainability, and bringing innovation to the waterfront. So here are some of the highlights that I would like to focus on. The first one, first and foremost, being our menu. Our menu is health-focused, and it includes the sandwiches, the smoothies, and the salads, and of course the other things for children, fruit cups, veggie cups, smoothies for dogs, etc. But the canteen, it is the general perception that the canteen is run by the town, so we believe that anything that the canteen is putting out should focus on health and wellness. So we have that covered. That being said, we also know that people are going to be going to the beach in Cobourg expecting their classic favorites, such as French fries, which is why we proposed that we would be running a chip truck that serves 2 kinds of French fries and 2 tacos, and also a hot dog truck that would do hot dogs, veggie dogs, chicken on a skewer, pea meal on a bun, and so forth. This way, the town image of promoting health and sustainability and wellness is preserved, and the public is still able to purchase their classic favorites, and the taxpayer interest is served by all. The second highlight I'd like to focus on is that the fact that we would be modernizing the customer's transactional experience, and this is done by our point-of-sale system. So with the system we use, we are able to eliminate the bottleneck that happens at the canteen window for orders and have people out in specific spots wearing a t-shirt kind of like this that says, "I'm a smile-sharing, smoothie-drinking, order-taking, day-making expert. Come order with me." So I have an iPad. Someone comes up to me and says, "I'd like a smoothie and a s'more and a fruit cup." I say, "Okay." I put it on the iPad, and their chit is printed on my hip, and then the chit is sent to the canteen. And now that customer can go and wait for their food in the sun, on the beach, with their friends and family and wait till their name and number is called. So there is no more lineups at the canteen. We're out there taking orders on our iPads. The only thing that would be ordered at the window is a cash. One of the windows at the canteen would be a cash window because we don't want to put our teammates into any sticky situations running around the beach with a bunch of people with a bunch of cash on their body or persons. Our next one that I will highlight is our goal in creating an exceptional food experience. So we would be creating a food hub along the waterfront by having multiple choices in multiple spots, thus maximizing selection and choice. The choices are multi-generational for the whole family. And what I mean by that is, statistically speaking, someone profiled like myself would grab a smoothie, someone profiled like my grandfather would go and get a French fry. Further, we have increased the hours, or we have proposed to increase the hours of the canteen. So from the traditional 10 to 10, it would be open at 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. This is to offer the early risers, boaters and campers coffee, breakfast, so an energy bowl and whatnot, with a free biscotti with their coffee, and to come enjoy their coffee with us. If I could live in a dream world, I'm going to put about 5 or 10 Muskoka-style chairs out on the beach, just from 7 a.m. till 10 a.m., and encourage people to come have coffee with us before their day starts, and it gets a little bit crazy. Another highlight is coming to a financial agreement that minimizes the town's risk while creating an unlimited potential for profit. We have agreed to the greater of the either $20,000 a year minimum payment or a 50-50 profit share. This mitigates the town's risk, ensuring that the taxpayers will receive at least as good of a deal as they have previously, while allowing for a larger profit from previous years. It also creates a situation where the town and the Market and Shmore would work together to ensure the taxpayers ultimately win, which I think is a great idea and very important in this situation. And I have a big paragraph for this one, but this is quite self-explanatory. Our books would essentially be your books. We need to track every single penny that goes through this business. It is our first year doing it. We need to know where we can grow, where we need to pull back on, and we understand that this is also very important to you to see the numbers, the profits, the people that are coming through, etc. I also think that it would be beneficial for those planning the waterfront to see the kinds of numbers that we are doing or would be doing, so you can plan accordingly based on those numbers as well. I wasn't joking when I said I wanted to keep this to 10 minutes. I didn't want to take up anyone's time, so that is it. I did the presentation, but Lucas will be answering your questions. And don't forget to tell him to stop talking because he talks a lot. You good?
Hello. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Anything specific about the proposal?
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your presentation. And just before I turn it over to council members for questions or comments, Councillor Burkap, do you have any declaration of interest tonight?
No, Your Worship.
Okay, that's recorded then. Okay, now we can proceed with the order of business. So, very good presentation, very impressive. Love your enthusiasm as well as your creative ideas. So, I'm going to ask members of council if they have any further questions of clarity. Councillor McCarthy.
Thank you. That's a great presentation, and I love the idea of the expanded menu, but also meeting the needs of the folks that go to the beach for the regular stuff. One of the things that I was wondering about, and it could be, Your Worship, through to Director Hustwick, in the past there's been an exclusivity for food sales on the waterfront, and then the issue of other food sales during some of the festivals. Has that been taken into account?
Go ahead, Mr. Hustler.
Thank you, Your Worship. To Councillor McCarthy, that has been removed from this agreement, so there is no exclusive rights to the waterfront throughout the summer that would specifically impinge on special events.
Okay, Councillor Darling.
Yes, I've sat and met with Montana and Lucas several times in regard to this issue. I'm wondering, Lucas, if you would just elaborate a little bit on your business plan and your past interactions with CFDC and what your future plans are along with the grocery business that you had been discussing.
Perfect. I will, as I said, try and keep it to a minimum. Basically, this is a stepping stone, and it's the first step in a number of steps that we've laid out forward. It's a great chance for us to introduce ourselves to the business. We have currently secured funding in the maximum amount allowable through the Northumberland Futures Development Corporation. They have told us that we have presented the best business plan for them in the last 15 years that they've seen, and as such have done the best they can to increase our chances of success. What they have also allowed is because our original proposal was for a grocery store in the downtown core, they have wonderfully written in an option that we have half of that funding that they have given us available to use for the canteen for equipment as necessary. So it has really allowed us to use not only our own startup capital, but has created a potential for a real chance to have a go at this. It's what's allowed us to buy the chip truck that will be being used down at the beach. And so in terms of that, that's sort of where it goes. This is a nice introduction to the community. We are setting our standards. We're going to set up that customer experience to really showcase what the Market Schmore focuses on, which is making sure people are happy and getting what they want and living a healthier life through food. That will then eventually grow into a downtown core grocery hub where we'll be selling fresh produce and for the local community.
And coming back to the canteen the following year, of course. We're not leaving.
Okay. Councillor McCarthy, another question?
Thank you. And further to the chip truck, do you know where you want to position it at this point?
Actually, Teresa Behan and I will be walking through. Yes, we've spoken about several locations about where this is going to go. It has to do with sewer locations, electrical locations, grey water tank locations. The exact details have to be worked out, but I think we have all a pretty good idea of where everything's going to be going. It's a few feet here, a few feet there, but primarily it's going to be the canteen, and it's going to be where the old police station was, the beach police station was set up on the side there, right by the, are going to be everything between those two areas.
Just
a follow-up, Councillor McCarthy?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I'm just thinking, because of my experience with the DBIA and debates with chip trucks, and I realize your proposal is only continuing to offer a menu, part of the menu that's always been expected down at the beach, which I think is terrific. But it's a change in the presentation, and I think it's a great idea, but I also think that the DBIA will be interested in understanding your place in all of this, and that the town is accepting this, because they'll be very interested that you eventually want to have a footprint downtown and that you're expanding the menu, because one of the things we've been addressing over the years is how do we make connections here, and your interest, and thank you for choosing Coburg, means those linkages will occur rather than the disconnect that I'm sure you've heard of, but don't you want to address that, so thank you.
You're very welcome. And just on a side note, we've actually been working in touch with the farmers market, and we have secured a booth at the farmers market as well. So we won't be we'll be selling our organic nut milks through the farmers market, as well as our fresh made salads, organic salads. Just again to start building those links. There's a lot of new people in the farmers market this year who are really opening up, and I think there is a real ground shift in this town as far as that linkage that you're speaking to.
Deputy Mayor Henderson.
Thank you, Worship. I don't have a question because you've been most informative and detailed. Just to make you aware that through Brent Larmer, our Deputy Clerk, we are working on an updated refreshment vehicle bylaw. So I'd just like to say, if you haven't seen it, we're hoping soon the amended parts would come back to Council. So Brent Larmer would be a wonderful contact for you to be aware of where we might be heading, in particular with the refreshment part. And just one clarification. I know you indicated the canteen, the chip truck is the hot dog more like a stand kind of premise, or is it a
It's
truck?
exactly like you'd imagine in downtown Toronto outside of the Toronto Maple Leaf game. It's literally a hot dog vending truck. The difference is that it is an enclosed unit with a rooftop as well, but it is the size of a traditional hot dog trailer. It is simply a grill with the fixings, if you will, and then a stainless steel roof over top to protect you from the elements. It can be closed and locked like a small trailer, which is the advantage of it over a traditional hot dog truck.
Very good. Councillor Seguin.
Thanks very much, guys. That was a super presentation, and welcome to Cobourg. My question is, I have a couple of daughters that all live in Toronto, and they come to Cobourg, and when we go to the waterfront, they want things that are gluten-free, and they want things that are dairy-free. And I know a lot of those points of food tend to be a little pricier. I know you're meeting on the 4th of May with members of the community, and I understand it's a sellout. Everyone has been excited about greeting you and welcome you to Cobourg. What happens if there's a lot of that type of food, and can you fit a little bit of that in? Not that that's the majority, but there's the odd person that does want something that's organic, and you're obviously going to cover that. But also the gluten-free aspect and even nut-free, if that's even possible. I know that's a little bit more difficult in the preparation part of things, but can you sort of touch on that a little?
That's a great question.
It's a great question. The nut-free we've had to address. We will not be able to offer anything nut-free this year. It's not feasible with the operational realities. That being said, all of our smoothies will be dairy-free. Soft serve will be dairy-free. So we're really addressing that idea of having a dairy-free vegan option. So all of our smoothies will be vegan-friendly, and all of our soft serves will be vegan-friendly coming out of the canteen. All of the salads that be coming out of the canteen will be vegetarian-friendly, with half of them being vegan-friendly. On top of that, our salads will all be gluten-free. Not certifiably gluten-free, and we will make sure that that is covered from a legal standpoint, because we cannot give the celiac seal, but we can say that they are gluten-friendly as far as from what our lawyer recommends. In terms of the chip truck, no, there will not be any vegan or organic coming out of that. That's fairly straightforward. And our nut milks are 100% organic. This is sort of what Montana and I take a lot of pride in. They are a fresh blended nut milk that we source the ingredients from, and all of the ingredients are organically sourced. So there are those options.
Go ahead and follow up, Councillor Seguin.
What is the shelf life of your gluten-free or your nut-free shakes?
The milk is 3 days.
3 days? Okay, perfect. It's important to know that for people that are so used to so many preservatives in food and think that milk or anything that's produced is going to last forever. So I'm thrilled that I can bring all 3 of my daughters to the waterfront, and they can all find something to eat, and I don't have to cook for them. So thanks.
Well, I can tell you, Councillor Seguin, is having come from a food manufacturing background and dealing with all of the allergens that the food industry deals with, it would be impossible for an operation like Montana and Lucas have to be making any kind of a declaration, because I know there are very, very stringent controls, and of course that it just wouldn't be financially possible for them to meet all of the controls. So I don't think that should be part of the expectation. Councillor Rowden.
Thank you, Worship, and welcome to Cobourg, and also thank you for the presentation. I'm just curious on the $20,000 or 50-50 profit. Is that calculated on, maybe Teresa can tell me, is that calculated $20,000, and then if the profits are way higher than that, the town get 50% of it? Is that the way it's worded in the contract?
For sure. So just so you, the $20,000 was what the previous agreement was. So we wanted to make sure that we held up at least what the town was getting, so that there's no risk that you guys were going to get a worse off deal. The reason 50-50 is we all don't really know what kind of numbers we do down there. And this allows the option of the town really winning in the long run. Worst case, you do as good as you've always been doing. Best case, well, we don't know what that best case is, because none of us actually have the numbers of what goes on down there.
Thank you. And I like the idea of having coffee down there, because I'm a senior and I can get down there and sit and have my coffee.
Well, hopefully Montana gets her Muskoka chairs for you.
Come sit in my chair.
Okay, Councillor McCarthy, then Deputy Mayor Henderson.
Thank you, Your Worship. With respect to what Councillor Seguin has suggested, and you may already have thought of this, but you seem like a very collegial business people, and your long-term goal is to embed yourself in the Coburg downtown. And this is something we need to do as a community, is to cross-promote. So indeed, when you do find somebody that's there, your best customer service, if you can't service them, that you might have knowledge or send them over to the town's kiosk of where they can get that food. And that's absolutely win-win. So that's just an idea. And my last question is to Director Hustwick or Ms. Bayan is, I gather this does not include the washrooms.
Go ahead, Dr. Hustwick.
Through you, Your Worship. No, it does not include the washroom cleaning. We've actually issued an RFP separately for that, and perhaps at the end I can provide a little bit more background on this recommendation. I can address some of that as well.
Probably be more appropriate when you have the RFP. Deputy Mayor Henderson.
Thank you, Worship. Councillor McCarthy raised my question, so I'll just excuse myself.
Councillor Darling.
Thank you, Worship. I'd just like to elaborate a little bit more on the 20,000 50/50. Part of the plan was when we reissued this RFP is that part of our waterfront, we wanted to find out what kind of revenue stream there is on our waterfront, and is the taxpayer getting the best bang for their buck. And we realized over the years that these chip trucks, when the contract was signed 10 years ago with a 5 years plus 5 years, that the volume of people on the beach has increased immensely over those 10 years. And we felt that just a straightforward cash deal wasn't the best thing for the town. So in this situation, the young entrepreneurs get a chance. There's providing a minimum amount, and if things go the way we all expect, it will be a definite win-win for both Lucas and Montana and the taxpayer as a whole. And that waterfront has to increase. It costs us a lot to do it, so if there is a potential there for revenue, I think we're heading down the right path. Thank you.
I would agree, Councillor Darling, and of course we might not even be comparing apples to apples, because they're coming in with a lot of innovative ideas and new technology, something that the waterfront has never seen before. So my expectation is they're going to probably, as much as we generated revenue in the past, that Lucas and Montana are going to generate even more through their operation. Any other questions from members of council? Seeing none, thank you very much for your presentation, and we can get on with the next item on the agenda.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Dart.
Yes, Your Worship, I'm seeing everybody's had the presentation. The action recommended that Council award the request for the proposal, CO17, to the Market and S'more to operate the Canteen Victoria Park for 2 years plus an option. And let's see, I'll read the motion that was in the plan here. I have the actual paper motion in front of me. I'll read it from that. Whereas the special council meeting has considered the request for proposal CO-17-05 regarding the operation of the canteen at Victoria Park. Now therefore be it resolved that council award the request for proposal CO-17-05 to the Market and S'more to operate the canteen at Victoria Park for 2 years plus an option for 1 year extension if mutually agreed to by both parties. And further, that the town of Coburg will receive $20,000 per year or a 50-50 profit split per year, whichever is more. And further, that council authorize the preparation of a bylaw which authorizes mayor and clerk to execute agreement with the Market and S'more for the operation of the Victoria Park Canteen and food services.
Okay, and I missed, who seconded that, Councillor Darling?
I did not get a seconder at this time. I have buried.
Councillor Burkhart's got his arm raised,
Okay,
so that's moved and seconded by Councillor Darling, seconded by Councillor Burkhardt. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion?
Your Worship, I believe Director Hustwick raised his hand.
Oh, sorry, I missed that, Director.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to provide a little bit more detail on some of the issues and further comment on Councillor Darling's remarks just for information purposes. The contract that expired last fall covered both the canteen and the washrooms, and so we've been losing approximately about $26,000 a year on the full building. And we believe, as Councillor Darling mentioned, we believe there's tremendous opportunities down at the waterfront in terms of both services and revenue potential. And so we wanted to do something a little differently this time. One of the purposes of the waterfront planning exercise is indeed to look at services and access and opportunities for enhancing customer service and customer experiences, including revenue generation. So we didn't want to do anything too long-term, and that's why we limited this to a 2-year and an option so that we can continue to provide services down there while we're doing the waterfront planning and then seeing what the future really holds. But also what it does, as has been mentioned, it sheds a lot of light on the operation down there. We really are in the dark. We have no access, have had no access in the past to the books of the operation. We have no idea whether the amount of revenue we've been generating for the taxpayers has been adequate. Our sense is we can probably do a lot better, and our goal is, at a minimum, to work towards breaking even on that full building so that we're not subsidizing a washroom facility. So the way we positioned this was looking for something new and innovative. So we received 4 submissions. 3 of them were more in the traditional perspective, and the Market and S'more presentation that you just heard was certainly very well received and scored because of the innovations that it included. We very much wanted to broaden the type of food and beverage offerings available to the public, and they certainly do that. So with 3 sort of different operations, the canteen is focused more on the healthy food options. We've got the food truck and the hot dog stand that provide the more traditional. What that also does is it provides multiple points of sale, which hopefully will reduce the lineups. And of course, one of the things that we really liked was the use of mobile salespeople and their technology that will really speed things up as well and make it a much more pleasant experience. This expanded hours, we really like. As they mentioned, being able to open in the morning and provide some breakfast options and coffee. We believe will be well received by visitors and local residents that just walk along the waterfront. So we really like that. And there's a tremendous focus on environmental conservation and the use of environmentally friendly containers as much as possible. I'm not sure the food trucks necessarily will be doing that, but they're certainly striving for that. In terms of the financial terms, as the presenters explained, this is a minimum $20,000. So we certainly didn't want to be any worse off. And through this agreement, we're helping a new startup operation and business for the community. But if they really take off and do very well, then the town and the taxpayers are going to benefit from that as well. So we think this is a really good opportunity. But it also, because of their technology and because of their reporting requirements with CFDC, their books are going to be open, and there's going to be a great deal of scrutiny looking at their operation, and we're going to benefit from that too. And with them providing that insight, we will be able to look into and discover the volume of customers and the revenue streams, and that will be very, very valuable as we move forward with waterfront planning and understanding what kind of services we really need down at the waterfront. So that in itself, I think, is going to be a tremendous benefit for the community. And I think that's all the points I want to cover, so thank you.
Okay, thank you, Director Husbeck. Deputy Mayor Henderson.
If I may, Your Worship, to Director Husbeck or our presenters, I apologize for not asking this earlier. Is there a target, maybe I missed it, is there a target date for opening and with the signage to be enhanced? Because I know we have the former proponent sign still down at the waterfront?
Go ahead, Ms. Main.
Your Worship, through to Deputy Mayor Henderson. As soon as this gets awarded, which I'm assuming it is, we'll be starting the process. We may have a soft opening in a few weeks, but Lucas, Montana, and I will be best friends soon. We'll be down there.
Councillor Rowden?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. And another thing, Mr. Husvick, in the garbage and recycling, are we going to try our best down there to make sure there's not only more bins but more education about recycling in the summer?
Through the, I was getting confused, the Mayor to Councillor Rowden. Yes, we will be increasing our recycling with signage, and we are really hoping that, it does go better this year.
And on that point also, all of the plastic containers that will be used through the market and s'more are plant-based, fully recyclable at our standard receipt. So as long as we have the containers, everything that we'll be using is fully compostable and fully recyclable.
As far as recycling goes, I can tell you that I just inspired through my role on County Council an initiative to start doing more recycling in all of our public places. When I take a look, I met arenas a lot, throughout southern Ontario, in our parks and other parks. And many of the municipalities, you'll see the garbage pails absolutely full of coffee cups. So I've convinced the Northumberland County waste management staff to take an initiative on how they can help support us in terms of increasing the recycling of all of the recyclable products that are given out at food concessions, coffee places, and so on. So we will soon be seeing a lot more support from the county and in that initiative as well. They'll be giving us some good ideas, and we'll be trying to standardize all of the receptacles across the county so people have a better understanding of what they're expected to do. Councillor Darling, you had...
Yes, Your Worship, thank you. One final comment. I just want people to realize out there, they say we're becoming a seniors community. This young couple here is the new wave coming in. There's going to be lots more following in their footsteps.
Absolutely. That's what we're looking for, is young families, and that's exactly what they are. Councillor Seguin.
Just a quick question. Thank you, Your Worship. To Director Husbrick, the ordering software for the tablets, is that contingent on Wi-Fi down there, or is that going to be a problem, or just, yeah?
I think Lucas has the answer to that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just so you know, it's called Touch Bistro, and the reason we've picked it, although it's one of the more expensive ones, is it actually creates its own network, and so I do not need Wi-Fi down there. It's a self-sustained network. If we have Wi-Fi, all the better, but Teresa and I will be working together to actually create a little network down there that does not need internet access.
Super answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we've pretty well exhausted the discussion. I'm now going to call for the vote. All in favor? And it's carried. And I'm now going to call for adjournment. Okay, Councillor Darling. Oh, sorry.
If I may, Your Worship, one quick announcement. We've just had a bulletin from the GRCA in regard to the amount of rain in the area and the fact that Lake Ontario was up about 18 to 20 inches higher than normal. And just a warning for those out there that are planning on using the waterways in any way that is a little more dangerous this time of year with the amount of rain and whatnot. I'd just like to get that out.
Okay, thank you.
And I will adjourn us.
And the adjournment by Councillor Darling.